I'm going to make a bold statement, and in the first instance you may not believe it's true, but it is nonetheless. Are you ready for this? Whether you know it or not, failure is your friend and your teacher. I've got to admit that for many years I didn't think this was the case. But after a lifetime of trying and failing at many things, I've come to the realisation that failure has taught me far more in life than I ever thought it would. The fact is that if you don't fail, you'll never win. Think about it. How many times have you seen a baby fall over in their quest to walk? I read recently that the average baby will fall over at least 40 to 50 times an hour in their attempts. You see, babies just don't understand failure. They don't fall over a couple of times and think to themselves, stuff this, I'm going to sit down from now on, this will never work. They just keep getting up and trying until they succeed. And as parents, we encourage them to keep trying. And yet it's after this time that we start telling them no. Just think about it. The more we hear it, the more we succumb to the thinking that failing is bad. But like I said, it's not true, because failure is a friend. It's when we fail at anything, and this is key, if we're willing to, we'll learn from it and it will become a stepping stone to something else. I'd bet money that 99% of the people who are more successful than us have failed more than us. They'll have stepped into the arena more than us. They'll have more failures, maybe not massive ones, but nonetheless, it'll be more. I've heard story after story of the overnight sensation who'd been at it for 10 years before they got that break. Are you aware that it took James Dyson 5,126 prototypes before he came up with the vacuum cleaner that we all know now? Or that Walt Disney went to 302 banks before he found one that was willing to take a chance on him? Or that Colonel Harlan Sanders of KFC fame was rejected over 1,000 times before he found a franchise partner? They're extremes, I know, but in order to move on, you'll have to make mistakes. They learn something with each failure. Let me give you some examples from my life. I failed my 11 plus, so couldn't get to the school that my parents wanted me to go to. And rather than send me to our local comprehensive school, I ended up going into the public school system, which I hated. I was away from home, was extremely homesick, getting bullied, and as a result, didn't do as well as I could have done given my capabilities. On the flip side, however, I learned to stick up for myself, to become not only resilient, but independent as well. Business-wise, since I've been an adult and married, I travelled on fairgrounds, but decided to stop after I'd worked all the summer of 1985 and spent the money we'd saved during 6 weeks of bad business. In the early 90s, we lost another business and was pretty much everything we worked for since we got married went down the drain and we had to start all over again. Years later, I developed an online travel business called GoTomorrow.com from the ground up. With no knowledge of the travel industry but gut instinct, I decided to have a go. I taught myself how to build a website. I went out of my comfort zone to learn new skills as I approached many businesses, hoping that they'd become part of the website. I attended trade shows trying to share my business idea with various hotels, bed and breakfasts, holiday camps, etc. to get them to come on board. I did all of this, and over the first few months of trading, I was getting in excess of 1 million hits per month on the website. You would think that's successful, but I failed to get in others to help me, and over the next 18 months I became drowned under the amount of work that I was doing. I ended up losing the business because I couldn't keep up with everything and was too scared to hire people to help. In 2016, when I had my kidney lodger and lost the kidney, after taking a break to recover, I panicked and decided that I needed to do something else. And over the next 3 years, I spent pretty much all of it trying to put together 2 more business plans, neither of which came into fruition. I heard people say, "Told you so," and I know people laughed about my misfortunes because others came and told me what was being said. The kidney lodger, however, changed everything. It freed me from fear and self-doubt. It gave me a second chance at life. It enabled me. It made me realise how brave I'd been, how daring. Sure, I remembered the pain of the failed situations, but I realised that pain is part of the process and that failure, although it temporarily demoralised me and wore me down, it never stopped me. I came to realise the lessons I'd learned could be useful in the next episodes of my life. Success doesn't come easily. Failure is part of success. I'm not saying that I'm a success, I'm saying I'm still on my journey. However, the only ones who never fail are those that never try. What you have to remember is that we're not born perfect. When we're born, we know nothing, and along the way we learn, and in the learning we fail. But once you realise that failure is your friend, once you understand that each little failure is a lesson, it really does give you freedom. Obviously, not the freedom just to dive into everything willy-nilly, but it gives you the freedom to give it a go whatever it is. It may be that you need to take a deep breath and tell someone how you feel about them. It may be that you really want to start your own business, but are scared that you don't know enough. Well, I can promise you this, you'll never know enough to begin. Whatever it is that deep down you know you want to do or be, don't let the fear of failure stop you. By failing, you'll learn something far more valuable. You can take a risk, weigh up the pros and cons. Don't worry about what people think, because after all, it is your life. It's not always going to be honky-dory, but it's not always going to be a misery either. Yes, it's good to be aware of the risks in regard to the things that you want to do. Be aware that there's risk in everything you do, but don't let the fear of failure hold you back if there's something you really want to achieve in your life. Take that first step, get that ball rolling and go for it. And remember, failure is your friend. If you found this video of any use to you, please hit that like button. That's how I know that what I'm talking about is of value to you. If you'd like to share it, do that as well. I'd be really grateful. And if you're watching for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to see another video of mine, have a look up there.